Hey guys, it's AJ from Sexy in the City here. This week is not going to be a newbie advice video. This week is going to be a little bit different, probably more similar to what you would hear on my podcast. Yeah, it's sort of a cheap plug, but there'll be a link for that in the description of the video if you want to check those out, where it's more of me just shooting off the hip and stories of Pattaya. This week I'm going to talk about the death of a good friend of mine and a fellow bar manager owner in Pattaya, Jason Gray. Some of you may know him as Sky Bar Jason or La La Land Jason. A couple people asked me to kind of voice my thoughts, as they knew I was very close to him, and so I decided to do that, but not just on the podcast but on camera today. This, for those of you who primarily are watching these for the newbie tips and advice, this may not be the video for you, but for those who are friends of Jason or have ever been to Sky Bar on Soi 6 or often visit Pattaya and want to hear about, you know, tragedies that can occur, this may be the video for you guys this week. So I first met Jason. I made a little bit of a blog about this on my Facebook a while back, about 3.5 years ago, when we moved here permanently for the first time. Me, I didn't know I had moved here first. I had been laid off, and when I got laid off, I intended to be here for a couple months, and I sort of fell into a job in Pattaya and a new career. Jason knew what he wanted. He purchased a bar right away, got involved in it, got it off the ground, and started developing an audience with it. And I became one of his first couple of customers at La La Land and quickly developed a friendship with him that has lasted to this day. Jason was at La La Land for about a year and a half, and he expanded to another popular bar on Soi 6, Sky Bar, a big double-unit bar that had been previously well known for its prior owner, Skeeter, who was a great cook. Now, it always made hamburgers and other stuff. It was a great host, but is now has left the country. So Jason took over Sky Bar and eventually sold La La Land and made Sky Bar his primary venture. Eventually he did get a business partner to assist him with it, who will probably still be running it to this day. But what we're going to focus on today is Jason. So for those of you who don't know him, Jason was 51 years old. Jason was larger than life, always smiling, always friendly, but not the most popular person in Pattaya, and he'd tell you that right to your face, as he accepted no bullshit. He didn't want any games. He didn't put up with thieves, con artists, liars, anybody that had previously been a thief or been in prison or anything like that. And he let those people know exactly what he thought, that he didn't give a fuck about them. And a lot of people really appreciated the fact that he was so blunt and so opinionated. In a town and in a world, quite honestly, where everybody's political these days, everybody's watching what they have to say. Every day in my country, America, we're getting another 4 or 5 sexual harassment claims when somebody 40 years ago put a hand on their shoulder and they were offended. Jason didn't give a fuck. If he didn't like you, he told you to your face. If he didn't like something you did, he'd tell you to your face. And it was a refreshing sense of honesty and integrity that many people in Pattaya lack. And that alone is a trait that more people could do. Yeah, even I can be pretty political. That comes from working in HR and sales management and people management for years and years. But Jason, you know, if another bar owner or bar manager didn't help him or like him, he wouldn't go out of their way to make them like him. He would just say, you know what, that's your opinion, but I stand by my own. He was incredibly loyal and dedicated to his customers, to his staff, to his bar. He would do anything he could to bring in additional alcohol, to bring in additional products. He went out of his way to make people feel welcome, probably more so than any manager in Pattaya, even myself. He really always made time for people. Even if he had a million other things on his plate, that customer that came into the bar, that was his priority while they were in his bar. It didn't matter if they were ringing the bell and spending tens of thousands of baht, or if they went ahead and bought a single water. They would come into his bar and he was going to make sure that they had a good time and make sure that any problems would be resolved by him. For those who aren't aware, I'm not going to get into too much about what took Jason's life. It was an illness that unfortunately went ahead and became more and more chronic over time, and eventually caused a total organ failure. He did die peacefully in his sleep at a local hospital about a day or two ago. And it was a shock because Jason was a big man, 6'4" or so, larger than life, always strong. Anytime somebody wanted to act up, I'll tell you guys a quick story. So there was a guy in La La Land. I'm sitting on the couch as a customer with him, and this guy tries to leave without paying his bill. As I mentioned in other videos, you have check bins in Pattaya. Sometimes people get drunk and don't want to pay their bill. This guy decided he wasn't going to pay their bill. And this is a story Jason often told too. And this guy was very drunk and very aggressive. So the guy's like, no, I'm not paying my fucking bill. And Jason's like, you're going to pay that bill or you're not going to have a good time. The guy's like, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. Jason's like, this is my bar. You're paying that bill. The guy's like, I'm not paying that bill. So Jason said, if you don't pay that bill, you see that door over there? It's a glass door. You're going through that door and you're going to pay for the door as well. And the guy said, I'm not paying that bill. Fuck off. And shoved Jason. Made the first move. Bar was full of customers, and the guy also slagged off some of the staff in the bar and was being extremely aggressive. So Jason did what he promised. He took this guy, put him through the glass window. Luckily, the guy wasn't that injured. Picked him up off the pavement, and the guy was so shocked, said, now you're paying for that window, the door, and you're paying your bill. Guess what? The guy did. And that sounds like a tough man story, and I know some people might say in the comments, oh, there are better ways to deal with that, and maybe there were, but that was Jason. If somebody wanted to fuck with his staff, his business, his girls, he always took the side of his staff and treated people like a king. He's going to be missed, and I'm going to have a lot more thoughts on the podcast, because you know I don't like to go too long on these YouTube videos, but a heart of gold, a guy who truly cared about Pattaya, and truly made it successful here. Rest in peace, Jason. I'll see you guys next week with a regular video.